Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay is really about the transformation of America by immigrants, in this case Jewish immigrants, using the power of the imagination. What I love about Michael Chabon's novel is that it's a combination of surface and soul. It's got this incredible surface that is true to New York in the 40s, but underneath that it's got a very simple story of two Jewish cousins and the people they fall in love with trying to save their family back in the war.
There's been a lot of struggle to find some way of bringing this novel to either film or television series or something like that. And I think I kind of thought, oh my God, opera is the perfect delivery system for this story.
The Met liked what I had done with Moby Dick, the libretto for Moby Dick, and I think they associated me with large books and taking large tomes and distilling them down into operatic form.
The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay is three distinct worlds. In wartime, you've got the sounds and sights of New York City in its most fabulous moment. We have the totally different world of Prague during the Nazi occupation. And then we have the world of the imagination.
The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier is about two guys, two cousins. Joe Kavalier, who is caught up in the Holocaust with his family in Prague, and he is able to make his way out of Europe. And he lands in Brooklyn, where he meets his cousin, Sam Clay. And Joe is very concerned about making enough money to get his family out of Europe.
Joe Kavalier escapes, comes to live with his cousin who's working in a toy factory in Brooklyn. Also somebody who happens to be obsessed with magic and wants to be kind of a magician and do death-defying Houdini-like feats.
They merge their skills. Sam as a storyteller, Joe is a great artist, and they create a comic book called The Escapist, in which they create a character who fights the Nazis, fights Hitler, and fights the Axis.
And the Escapist becomes their outlet for how they move through that, how they change, how they process their grief.
One of the things that we're doing in the show is creating these three distinct visual worlds. And each of those worlds has a different visual identity. So the world of Prague and the war is a kind of monochromatic, quite shadowy, dark world, which reflects the kind of turmoil of the period. New York in the 40s, you get into this kind of much more saturated colour world. It's the kind of feeling and kind of look of jazz and neon lights and the idea of a city which is kind of like brimming with possibility. And then the comic book world is very graphical. There's a lot of kind of line drawing, but there's also the kind of rich coloured imagery that you might associate with kind of early comics. We sort of dramatise the moment when Sam and Joe kind of first dream up the idea of this comic book character. You know, finding ways dramatically, underscored by amazing music that Mason's written, to show how the act of creativity can bring a fictional character to life.
Mason's style comes from his eclectic own upbringing in music. His life is not only about classical music, it's also about being very at ease and loving electronics and being, in a way, a DJ himself. But the way he does it is really unique to him.
There's a lot of electronic sound in it, in the way you might experience in a John Adams or something like that. But it feels so organic to what you're hearing, and at the same time, it's large scale. He's wickedly gifted in terms of his ability to do every kind of sound.
I really wanted to find some elements of Jewish culture to integrate in this piece. So I went to Temple Emmanuel in San Francisco for about 6 months. I started just immersing myself in that culture. I wanted to find something that could be integrated, and I found this incredible tune, Ani Ma'amayim, which was allegedly written on a boxcar. The Jewish person who was in the boxcar escaped, took it to Israel, it became a kind of folk song. I love integrating classical music into the 21st century in new and surprising ways, while also being true to its long and ancient history.
When you come to the Met, you want to go somewhere you've never been. And this music will take you to this extraordinary world. And you're being asked questions about who you are as a human being, about where you come from, and about the kind of challenges you face when we're experiencing a genuine oppression and how we respond to it.
Tragedy and heartbreak is sort of threaded throughout, but there is a sense of adventure and creation and energy of these two young guys.
This is one of the reasons it's so exciting to bring this to the Met, because this exemplifies what we can do as a Metropolitan Opera for the new generation of composers and of librettists and of new great operas that we're trying to create for future generations.
I'm really, really super excited to kick off the Met season with it. And the Met, who has always got one foot in the past and one foot in the future, this is it at its best kind of balancing act.
Who would I want to see in the audience? Well, the Met audience is awesome. I want to see all of them. I also want to see my son, who's 15, and my daughter, who's 12. I feel like this piece has a very young element to it. Even though it's a big old opera with big old storytelling, I want to see people that want to have a good time at the opera. Yeah, people are going to die, but we're also going to see superheroes come to life.